About 7 months ago I did a video, episode 147, on throwing the Hibben triple cord throwers against this knife board, and in that time I've come up with a few different designs, but I finally set on the design that I love the best, and I'm going to make a short video today on how I've come to that design. So originally what I did, and this is just a backyard setup, it's nothing professional or anything like that. If you notice here, I just found a small pallet. If I head around the back here, you'll be able to see how I put it together. So I just managed to get a small pallet that I found just down at work there. I just screwed one slat from a pallet on one side and then another one on the other side, and I just put them into the ground and then just tied it to this pole that's in the ground there that's holding up the fence that my father had put there. And all I was doing from there was just screwing slats to the front of the pallet there, just screwing them in and then just throwing knives at it. But because they're so thin, I was virtually just going through them within, a week or so. So as the months evolved, I just came up with new and new designs, and a place that I deliver water to was throwing away this beautiful beam. This was one long piece here, and I cut it into two exact pieces. I'll just get a ruler just to show you exactly how wide this is. So that's 23 centimeters by 6 centimeters. So I cut those into two, and I actually screwed those into the pallet, which is a lot more sturdy. Now the most important thing about this, so I was going to start throwing knives at these two pieces here, but just such a beautiful board, so I didn't want to ruin it. So the most important thing was I screwed this piece to the top here. If you notice, just put one piece along the top just to give it a little bit more stability. And this is when my juices started flowing about coming up with a really good design, a really easy design how to change my slats that I put around the front there without having to go through them every week or so. So what I did is, down where I work, I've got a mate that takes sheet metal, and this is the kind of pallet that the sheet metal comes on. Now if you notice, these slats here are pretty much what I throw the knives on, so they're pretty good, but they're not the best. But these bits underneath here, they're 7 centimeters squared all the way around. They're nice and thick, so this is where I thought I'd start using. So those three were the ones that I was going to start using. So I'm just going to show you exactly how I made this board by cutting this up and screwing a few little odds and ends to it, and how easy it is to put it together. So actually I had it screwed up yesterday, but I just put it together just to give you an idea of what it originally looked like with the sheet metal on there. So what I did, I've only cut one thing on here, so take this one piece off here and just lay it there like that. Take this other piece off here like that, and this bit here, this is the only bit that I cut, and you'll see why in a second. So it leaves us with those three pieces down the bottom, which are 7 centimeters squared all the way around. Now if you look how thick these are going to last you a very, very long time throwing knives on. So what I did, the pieces on the top there, I just cut little bits and pieces just to screw in with the bolt up the top here, and what they do is they sit on the top there of my board. But to make it easy, you see up here, I've just drilled a hole in the top here, not to screw in or anything, you just put this in here like that. And when you place this on top there, because if if you've noticed, I've drilled some holes up the top here. When you actually place this bit on top here, it falls straight in the hole. And that's how sturdy it stays. And once again, we get the other one over here. We put that on this side. And we get the last one over here. And we put that on this side. And once again, you would put those screws, one through here, and it holds it nice and sturdy. And you see how thick these pieces of timber are. Now, once you do eventually go through this, which will probably take me a couple of months now, you take that off, unscrew this bolt, turn this around one way, and then, once again, put it on, and you can use this side. And then once you've used up this side, unloosen that bolt again, spin it round again, then you can use that side. So you've got 4 different sides before you go through one complete piece of wood. Once you're finished with the top, because I'm pretty much throwing the knives towards the top, turn it upside down and start all over again. Screw your little slat up the top there, and once again, grip it on the top. These 2 other little bits that I've got here, which are the thin little bits, which are the ones that the sheet metal used to sit on, I've done the same with these, but all these ones are really for is just to hold these 3 pieces together. So this one goes here, like that, and this one goes here, like that, and that is my knife throwing board. Now, you don't have to have them as long as I have them, but I just didn't want to cut these. So, you know, if I could cut these and virtually get 3, you know, same length pieces, that would only come to about there. And, you know, once I use these 3, each time I spin them around, I'll have another 3 spare and another 3 spare, but I just wasn't in the mood of cutting them, and they give it a bit of weight the way it is at the moment. So what I'll do, I'll screw them all together and set it all up, and then you'll find out exactly what it looks like. But that's the easiest design that I've come up with in the 7 months that I've been throwing knives. What I used to do is I used to have something like this, as I told you before. I used to sit on that backboard there, and I just used to screw it in with a screw. But like I said, every week or so I used to have to pull it out and then find these thin slats again from pallets and whatnot. But these ones on the base of the sheet metal that comes, they seem to be the best ones that I've found so far. I've thrown a few knives at them and they stick perfectly. So I'll pause for a bit here. I'll just stick this together and I'll start up again and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, we'll put it together, and that's what she looks like. So you've got your 3 big pieces in the middle and your 2 end bits, which pretty much hold that together. Now, anytime I need to take these off, all I do is just lift it up. As you can see what it looks like from the top here. These just sit in here, so they're not screwed in, they just sit in. For instance, if I can take this one out here, there you go. So say this one was pretty much dead and buried. I've been throwing knives at it for months. I would just loosen this bolt, turn the wood around, and I would then place it that way and sit it back on top. So it goes on like that, sits in there like that, the screw falls in, and there's my board. And now this is a blank canvas. You can do whatever you want here. You can paint yourself little targets or put yourself a diagram on there of a person, wherever you want to throw. The knives that I use are the Hibben cord triple throwers. I think they are the, let me check here, the GH0947s. Here they are here. Now, when I first started throwing these, I loved getting them, the groupings. I loved getting the groupings nice and tight. But what happens with these, because they're cord gripped, because I was getting them so tight, I got so good at throwing them pretty much on a dime, I would cut these virtually every single time I would throw the knife. So what I'd like to do now, and I find a lot harder than actually hitting them in one spot, is try to throw one knife on here, one knife on here, and one knife here. So I'll try to keep them separately, so I don't have to keep on replacing the cords on there. So, and from the target, The most important thing is how they come out of the hand, of course, but from the target you've got to measure a distance where the knives will actually stick. Now from here, I measure it with my steps. I've just put my foot up against the brick wall here, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I've got 12 steps from the target to where I throw them from. Now I'm not quite sure if I'm going to be able to throw a knife holding the phone, but I'll give it a go. So these are my Hibben cord grip throwers, and the way from that distance, that allows you to throw them from the blade. It won't allow you from that distance to throw them from the handle. You have to come in a little bit if that's the case. So I like to throw them like that. I'll see if I can actually hold it, actually get it to sit on. No. Let me try again. I should actually really put the phone down. No. Let's try it one more time. There you go. Straight in the centre.